I'm now going to continue my coverage of the University of Minnesota marijuana research study. And please don't ask me to repeat that. It was hard enough to say the first time. Okay, let's just continue, shall we? After they finish their discussion of the parts of the brain which are affected by marijuana, they discuss other research studies that have been conducted on marijuana users. In the description below, I will leave a hyperlink to the first study they discuss. In this video, I will give you just an overview. Okay? Now we have Rebecca D. Creen, we have Natania A. Crane, and we have Barbara J. Mason. And they drew conclusions from other marijuana research studies. They discussed what happens to marijuana users when they don't use marijuana for a short period of time. Now, what happens to them? Well, when they stop using marijuana for a while, they lose their concentration. See? Okay, what does that mean? All right, let's take a 2-hour movie, shall we? Now, I know that there are some normal people in the world, they sit there for a 2-hour movie. If the movie's boring, they're going to tune out within the first hour, probably within the first 15 minutes. But if it's a really exciting movie, they'll watch it all the way through. What about marijuana users? Well, if they get off the marijuana for a while, then they can sit through a 2-hour movie, exciting or not, and they will still not be able to stay attentive to the movie for the entire way. Now they've missed an entire movie. They say, well, okay, they missed a movie. Big deal. Well, it also starts affecting other areas of their life. Take, for instance, a college professor. They have to sit through one of these lectures. After a while, they'll tune him out. That could be a bad thing on their grades. And if they get bad grades, well, what happens next? Well, they don't get good paying jobs. That's the problem. You say, well, that's no big deal, so they don't get good paying jobs. They get jobs in the fast food industry or something like that. Well, but there are more problems. What about when they're driving? That's no different than texting and driving. That's no different than drinking and driving. That's no different than talking on the cell phone and driving. See to me? Even distracted driving, same thing. You tune out for just 1 second and you're done. That's what we're talking about. Okay. So, the thing is that when it comes to these marijuana users, when they start losing their concentration, they know all they have to do is ingest some more marijuana and their concentration comes back. That's why it's so hard for some of them to get off marijuana completely. There you go. Alright, marijuana users take more risks. These are the kind of people that wouldn't think twice to bungee jump. They wouldn't think twice to go skydiving. They wouldn't think twice to get on a mountain bike and ride down the mountain. They know they could probably get injured, but they're going to do it anyway. That was what was being discussed. Marijuana users are more impulsive. What does that mean? Well, have you ever been to a grocery store? You're standing in the checkout line. They have all the little magazines and they have the candy bars. That's impulse buying. You know what these marijuana people would do? They'd buy the stuff. Normal people may or may not. But these people, they wouldn't think twice. They'd just buy it. Just because it was there. That's impulse buying. But there are also other impulsive things they'll do that they probably wouldn't do otherwise. And I'm sure you can come up with a complete list of all that. Okay. Now, marijuana users, when they stop using marijuana for a short period of time, also start developing problems retaining information for long periods of time. What does that mean? Okay. Let's say you give a marijuana user a grocery list. Okay? And you tell him to go out and buy all these groceries. Well, he may remember the first 2 or 3 items on the list and go out and buy them. But after a while, either he'll forget the rest of the list, or he may even go as far as to forget that he even has a list. And that could be a problem. Alright? Especially if you have chores to do at your house. That could be a problem. Or you're building a piece of furniture. You know that you have to do A, B, and C. Well, by the time you get to part B, you forget about part C altogether. Or how about a FedEx delivery driver? You're given a list of places you need to go. Now the guy's having to look at his clipboard right and left to make sure he gets to all of his destinations. Normal person may not have to do that. I know a lot of normal people that if you give them a clipboard, they could take a look at that list, and they probably could go to every single one of those destinations without having to look at the list ever again. But not these people. Okay? And they take longer to complete tasks because they're fighting to remember what tasks they're trying to complete. That's what the study said. And you can read all of this for yourself down below. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.